Can we all stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilman Green.
Heavenly Father, thank you for being with us, guiding us, keeping us. Father, as we enter this Thanksgiving season and this holiday season, we just pray that everybody can realize what's important. It's not about the things that we have or the things that we get. It's about the relationships we make and the changes we can make in people's lives for the better. Father, I pray that you guide us tonight as we try to make decisions for the city and lead us into a brighter future. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Ms. Lewis, could I have a roll call, please?
Green.
Here.
Paprick.
Here.
Gibson.
Here.
Fox.
Here.
Allen.
Here.
Swisher.
Here.
Brandt.
Here.
Simmons.
Here.
Has everybody had a chance to look over the agenda? If so, I need a motion and a second.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Approve or correct regular session minutes of November 4th, 2025. Everybody's had a chance to look at that. If so, I need a motion and a second to approve or correct.
I move to approve.
Second, Simmons.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on down to committee reports. First, we have Public Relations and Public Safety Committee. That's Councilmember Swisher and Gibson.
Yes, I have the Marshall Police Department report for the month of October. They had 362 traffic stops with 100 citations, 23 arrests, and 7 DWIs. Municipal court officer calls service 2008. Officers answered an average of 64 calls a day in October. 150 police reports taken, average of 4 police reports per day. 48 arrests. Animal shelter numbers for October: 1 citation, 20 dogs picked up, 10 dogs returned to their owners, 5 dogs were adopted. Nuisance: 1 open nuisance case, 1 signed out, 98.5 closed nuisance cases, 10 summons issued to people, 15 tickets issued, 114 complaints since May 21st of 2025. That would be it.
Thank you, Councilmember Gibson. Councilmember Swisher, do you have anything?
No report.
Thank you. Moving on to Municipal Services and Personnel Committee. That's Councilmembers Brandt and Green.
Okay, yeah, we had a Municipal Services Committee meeting on Friday, the 7th of November. We had Andy Bodine with HDR, who he represents the city at the airport in our interest with FAA and MoDOT. And also Councilman Green, myself, Jill, and Randy were there, and JD. We talked about several things. Andy talked about a meeting with Emery Sapp, where there were some issues with the work that they did out there, and they did agree to go ahead and make that good, redo that work and get it done. So also we talked about the next project that we'd be working on, and Andy talked like the lighting on the runways would be the next issue. That would be about a $600,000 project, but of course we get our funds from MoDOT, FAA. That would be anywhere 5 or a 10% match project on that. So that's probably, in his mind, that's the next thing he feels like needs to be done and falls in line with what FAA and MoDOT want you to do next. Also talked about some spalls in the runway, and he will let Randy know that he could probably fix those with epoxy. There's just a few places, but and they're not too bad, but they will be repairing those. Other things, talked about future possible projects, and I know we talked quite a bit about hangars, and I might let you expand on that, Drew, if you want to, on,
Yeah, essentially, one of the major things in aviation right now is a lack of hangars, lack of places to store airplanes. The problem is finding the money to do it, and if you go through the government, it costs twice as much. So there are some programs out there for private investors, and I think, JD, I don't know if you remember, we were talking about RFPs for investors to build hangars out there. And we would like to build a big hangar right next to the terminal building anyway for a possible mechanic or somebody to come out there and revive our airport. So we're looking at all those options. Was it an RFP, JD? Am I saying that right?
Yes, request for proposals. Yeah.
Yeah, for investors to come in and possibly build hangars, and you give them a lease on the land and those kind of things. But I think that's kind of where we're headed. We had maybe somebody interested in building a private one there, that we were going to meet with them. Not next to the terminal, but somewhere on the airport. So there is some interest out there, and I think it would really help our airport grow, especially if we could get a mechanic or somebody up here. Would increase fuel sales and traffic. And so that is one of my main goals, since we have the Aviation Museum and have a deep history here in aviation. And if none of you have been out to that museum, it's a pretty good wow factor. We had one of the biggest, well, actually the biggest flight school in the country back in the 30s, 20s and 30s. So we had a worldwide aviation book and sold parts worldwide. It's fascinating. So, well, I think it was over 3,000 students at one time. So it was big. But that's kind of the hangar update. So hopefully we'll get something moving forward there. And he suggested that, I'll say that. He
Yeah.
kind of led us down the path of private investor. He said it was way more efficient and better than,
yeah.
yeah.
And like you said, we did have a person interested in possibly building one, and we're gonna start working with that guy to get the information out to both parties. Other things we talked about, there's an alley that we're looking at abandonment between Conway and Sharp, north of College. The alley's kind of grown in. You certainly can't get from one end to the other on it. So we're in the process of doing our due diligence on that, of who's using the alley, if anybody. And we've talked to utilities. I think they're fine with it. Doug Root was okay with everything with the electrical. So we're working on that. Another thing was the snow route issue up in Ward 4. And we would like to have Lion Street designated as a snow route, and that would be from Arrow to High Street. Right now, I do believe because of one of the rail crossings, we lost the snow route. It might have been Benton. So we need to have one there for the safety of the public and the transport of ambulances and fire trucks, and one thing if they need to get up in that area of town. So I do believe the process is that we would, it's a recommendation from the Municipal Services Committee that we move forward with this before we start getting a lot of snow. So I think we have to draft an ordinance to do so. So we hopefully will be looking at that in our December meetings for a first and second reading on the designation of that Lion Street. Discussion on Amari Lake and the entrance to that, the school district. Well, there's a shelter house. It would be on the southwest corner of the lake that the conservation built. It's a nice shelter house, but they've cut the road off from coming into that from the Hab Center where the school was built. So they've shut that off, but there is kind of another entrance off of Lincoln that we're gonna try to open up to get into that. So, and that will be a city project that will be done by our city municipal services department. I think that's it. We talked about quite a few things. So, and on another item, I just left a meeting with the chamber on the hot air balloon event that they're planning in September. So we'll be seeing and hearing a lot more on that. Drew, you got anything to add?
No, I was just thinking, want to circle back to the street tax
Yeah.
idea that we've all talked about. And if we could get something maybe preliminary drawn up with Elizabeth and JD for a 1 cent sales tax with a 3-year sunset. Just so we can kind of all start talking about it more seriously and looking at the verbiage and making sure that it's written in such a way that that money can only be used in streets and sidewalks and stuff to help. I know we got a lot of sidewalk stuff to do here in town too, but, we're gonna need help with money for streets big time here. Well, starting next year, really.
Right.
Yeah, we're kind of out of money, so. And that takes the ease off the general fund, which helps just support the government. But if we can get money just for the streets and hopefully build trust with the citizens and they know where that money's going, it has to go to that, and they'll see us do a lot of work on streets, so, yeah.
I think that's all I have.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, council members Brandt and Green. Property Finance and Budget and Audit Committees, that's council members Patrick and Fox.
I have nothing to report.
No, I have no report either. Just so you know, I mean, Amy gives us numbers once a month, so there's not gonna be a report every single week.
That's good, I appreciate you, thank you. Community Development and Code Committees, that's council members Allen and Simmons.
No report, sir.
Thank you.
No report, Your
Mr. Allen, all right, thank you. City Administrators Report, Mr. Kerman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I got a couple brief items of interest. I mentioned that we had a couple things queued up for planning and zoning. That was last Tuesday night. The Planning and Zoning Commission did move all 3 of the issues, 2 special use permits and a rezone application, to a public hearing. That public hearing will be on December the 9th at 5:15 here in the council chambers, and the ad should appear in the newspaper beginning tomorrow and run for the requisite 15 days. I want to mention too that since the government shutdown has ended, that our EDA grant, EDA is Economic Development Administration, an arm of the federal government, we've been working for the last number of years on capturing some grant money that they made available for disaster relief associated with the storm sewer down here along Boyd Street near ConAgra. The EDA has beat up on the applicants pretty good over the last couple of years, and the award and the terms of the grant are a little bit different, but it is such that we thought it was worthwhile to keep it alive. So we've all got to get caught up again now since they've come back to work. We've got a meeting on the 25th of this month, and then I anticipate what'll happen is that we'll come back to City Council and talk to you all about the terms and about what we're looking at to accept that. But we're hopeful, you know, there's that's a $1.5 to $2 million fix down there, and we're hoping that the federal government will allow us to bring some tax money that's left Marshall back to Marshall to make those repairs. So I hope to have an update for you at a meeting in December. I also want to clarify an issue too regarding the stop sign at Best and Ellsworth. I understand there was a story in the paper and that there was some confusion about what was going on there. I just want to emphasize, we get these requests not infrequently, and the typical procedure that we follow, at least since I've been here, what we do is we initiate a staff study with the police department for that sort of thing. And they will go down typically, depending on the request, if it's, we get requests for stop signs, we get requests for children at play signs, things of that nature. Typically what we do is we start with the PD, we have them do a staff study, they will interview neighbors in the affected area, they will do some enforcement and make notes about what they're seeing, they'll look back at calls for service in that area, they might look back to see if there's been a lot of crashes or if there's been conflicts with pedestrians, things like that. And then if that staff study comes back with a recommendation to either, the recommendation could either say, unfounded, or it needs more information, but usually it'll come back with some points, either in support of the request or in support of alternate methodologies. In either event, that study would then go to the Municipal Services Committee for consideration. The important thing for people to know here is that any traffic control device like that is the domain of the city council. Nobody on staff is just going to unilaterally decide to install a stop sign somewhere in town. So we do have a process for it. In this case, it was only mentioned because we wanted to make sure that people in that area knew that this was something that we were looking at doing. And then finally, I want to mention, I had an interesting conversation with a group that some of you may be aware of, and I believe they're also talking to our county commissioners, and this is called the Coalition Against Big Trucks. And the name sounds a little funny, but actually they've been around for quite a long time, and what they do is they monitor legislation at the federal level and at the state levels that would increase the allowable weights on semi-trucks. That's important to Marshall because we have a lot of semi-trucks that come into the center of town. They're talking about pushing these weights up, in some cases well over 100,000 pounds. In Missouri, they believe the governor has the authority to do this on his own. But there's a considerable lobbying effort underway, and I've talked with Richard Sheets from the Missouri Municipal League. They're also watching this. Obviously, that would have a really devastating effect on infrastructure for a lot of Missouri towns and counties, and so we continue to talk with them and kind of watch these bills as they come in and out of the federal Congress, and then look at what's happening on the state level. If anybody wants more information about that, their representative out of Virginia has invited me to share information. I'm happy to do that. It's kind of voluminous, as you can imagine, so if you're interested in seeing any of that, I'm happy to forward an email to you, and that goes for councilmen or anybody in the public. So happy to answer questions about these items or any other city business.
Question for you. Where are we at with the land transfer to be
For
done?
Eastwood?
For the school, yes, to be done
We're
with
ready,
it.
we're ready to go. So I had a conversation that I shared with you with the superintendent here recently, so if there's no further objection, we'll continue. They asked us to look into some other possible contingencies, and I believe that our conversation ended with that we want to treat that land transfer as an independent item and not add any additional considerations to it. And so if that's the case, then we should be able to bring the closing up to date here, based on the terms of the contract you already passed. So I don't believe there'll be any additional council action, but the city attorney and I will have to coordinate with the school district and the title company.
Okay, thank you.
I have a couple questions for you, JD. One, I had a question from a citizen, and maybe Elizabeth can chime in on this one too. They were asking about possible cessation of smoking or vaping on the square during like city events, parades, trick or treat on the square, things where small kids and things are standing, and I don't know if that's even something we can do as council or if it's feasible, or I don't know.
It is, with certain limitations, and if you like, we can put some of that information together, kind of give you an overview of what's been done in other communities to restrict that sort of thing. It gets a little tricky with private property and public property, but there are some examples in Missouri of cities that have also made restrictions on private property. So I'm afraid I don't know enough to give you a real comprehensive answer tonight, but it is something that you can do, and if you like, I'd be happy to make more information available. Since you're talking about largely public areas that this impacts, we might need to have a conversation with the mayor about, do you want this to go to Municipal Services Committee or should it go to Code Committee? We can have that conversation down the road. We'll get the information together and distribute it, and y'all can decide how you want to proceed.
And I'll forward you the email, but it was talking about maybe the events can ask for exemptions if there's going to be something, but they were really more focused on the things with like trick or treating where you're just kind of standing around and smoking. And then secondly, Jeremy was giving his report about the police. I was wondering how the new ordinances are going with the signs and the way we're handling nuisance. Does that seem to be working better, or is it?
We're getting a really, we just had a conversation about this the other day. We're getting a really good response. And, you know, I think what you're gonna see is by the time we close in, on the end of the year, you're gonna see that we're getting resolution from the property owners. Our entire system before was predicated on the city, sort of going through the motion so that we could enter the property and abate the nuisance, which meant that the taxpayers were paying to mow people's lawns and things like that. Right now, what we're seeing is, that the ticketing process and having to possibly talk to the prosecutor, having to possibly show up in front of the judge is having a much more immediate impact on people's response. I can tell you anecdotally that I knew we were making an impact when I started taking calls from out-of-town property owners angry that they were being ticketed, and one of them even said, "You guys have always mowed my property for me." And I know that's something we want to get away from. I think one of the great victories that I like to trumpet as a result of that changeover with code enforcement to the PD is 1068 South Ellsworth. That thing has been on the Board of Code Enforcement docket since maybe 2017, if I'm not mistaken. It was a perpetual problem. We didn't get any action on that until the PD cited it and started writing tickets. Then the property owners, things started to move very quickly. And if you've been by there recently, you've seen we've been working with the mortgage company and with their real estate agent, and things are relatively clean over there now. They've been getting the house cleaned up, but unfortunately, that was a great example that was a property that was a major nuisance to that part of town that was caught in a perpetual cycle of notifications and cleanups by the city, but we weren't making any actual progress on the underlying problem. The property has since changed hands, and I think we can probably finally put 1068 North Ellsworth to bed, and that's just one example, I think, of the change that you're asking about.
Okay. Yeah, I've had a issue with property that I've been kind of working with, and I know Chief went over there and did some things, and then there's some other issues. I forwarded you that email, and the smoking email, and so I'll follow up with you later
Will do.
this week, and
Certainly.
you
Thank
might talk to Chief about that, and, because they were mentioning, like, maybe it's time to go to the property owner and do kind of what you were talking about. So.
Okay.
I would just add also that it has been very successful in municipal court, that
Oh.
I've had a lot of people reach out to me before their court dates and say, I'm so, like, what do I need to do to get this taken care of? And I've just been really thankful that we've gotten a great response for them. I mean, we have a couple people who have been difficult to work with, of course, but I would, 99% of them have just been really proactive, and most of them get taken care of before their court date, and the few that show up have also been super cooperative. And from my perspective, I'm having conversations very frequently with property owners, and it's going really well.
Good. Awesome. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, JD. Mayor's report. I do not have a report tonight. I don't know. Don't even start. Moving on. I can do that, dude. Moving on, business from the audience. It's limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Any person, resident or non-resident, wishing to address the council may approach the microphone and state their name and comments. Is there anyone here that would like to speak? Sure did get awful quiet. Mr. Harlow? Anything? Okay. Anyone else? Tony?
Somebody go ask for a mayor's report, please.
I knew that was good. Moving on, we're going,
I didn't hear one. I didn't hear one. Are we coming back to it? We're
no,
gonna do it last?
I'll get it last.
Miss something?
Did
you guys hear one?
Well, y'all didn't miss me, did you?
You were gone?
Right.
Yeah. He was,
All right.
Nathan was drunk with power.
Yeah. I'll leave and come back and get beat up. Now you made me miss my, okay. Moving on to number 6 is, discussion and appropriate follow-up. We have one thing, and that is appointment, to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And I would like to, submit the following appointment for your consideration, to Planning and Zoning, and that is Kevin Dreyer. That's a new appointment, and the term expires November 2028. So if y'all are good with that, I need a motion and a second.
I move to approve.
Second, Gibson.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Moving on to resolutions. Ms. Lewis, would you read resolution by title only, please?
A resolution authorizing payment of pay application number 3 to Emery Sapp and Sons Incorporated for the parallel taxiway reconstruction project at the Marshall Memorial Municipal Airport.
Does everybody understand that? When you want to speak on that, JD?
I just want to say briefly that we don't often have change orders that come to the city council to reflect a reduction in the overall price, but in fact, that's what this is. This is actually a slight reduction in the overall bid amount. MoDOT just requires that you all take legislative action to acknowledge that there's been a change in that final price, since we're receiving a combination of federal and state money. So that's why this particular item's coming to you. It will not in any way impact the warranty work that we're pursuing with, the Municipal Services Committee discussed with Andy. It won't affect that in any way, but it will allow MoDOT to close out this portion of our project.
Okay.
Is everybody good? If so, I need a motion and a second.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Lewis, could I get a roll call vote, please?
Allen,
Yes.
Swisher,
Yes.
Brandt,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Paprick,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Fox.
Yes.
Passes. Moving on down to ordinances. Ordinance number 1. Ms. Lewis, could you give second reading by title only, please?
An ordinance providing for a general municipal election to be held on April 7, 2026 in the city of Marshall, Missouri for election of city officers therein.
I need a motion and a second.
Make a motion, we approve?
Second, Gibson.
I have a roll call, please.
Swisher,
Yes.
Brandt,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Paprick,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Allen.
Yes.
Passes. Ordinance number 2. Ms. Lewis, could you read that by title only, the first reading?
An ordinance authorizing the Board of Public Works of the City of Marshall, Missouri to enter into a standard form of agreement between owner and architect AIA document B101-2017 with Simon Oswald Associates Incorporated, DBA SOA Architecture for architectural and design services related to the Marshall Municipal Utilities Administration Building and Shop Project, and authorizing the Board of Public Works to execute the agreement.
Mr. Tony, do you want to add anything to that?
No, it's just a contract that we're doing with SOA on the IT broadband and admin building, the new one. I think this is what Councilman Green was talking about a few weeks ago.
Years ago, when I was like, is this it?
Yeah, this is it.
All right.
Okay. If we're good, could I get a motion and a second on that one? To approve the first reading?
I make a motion, we approve the first reading? Second, Allen.
Ms. Lewis, may I have a roll call?
Brandt,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Paprick,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Swisher.
Yes.
Appropriation, Ms. Lewis, could you give the first reading by title only?
An ordinance making the appropriation for the payment of accounts out of the different city funds.
I need a motion and a second to take to a second reading.
Motion to go to a second reading.
Second.
Could I have a roll call vote, please?
Simmons,
Yes.
Green,
Yes.
Paprick,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Swisher,
Yes.
Brandt.
Yes.
Ms. Lewis, could you give the second reading by title only, please?
An ordinance making the appropriation for the payment of accounts out of the different city funds.
I'll need a motion and a second to approve.
Make a motion, we approve?
Second, Green.
May I have a roll call vote?
Green,
Yes.
Paprick,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Fox,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Swisher,
Yes.
Brandt,
Yes.
Simmons.
Yes.
Moving on to other council business, other than I didn't have a report tonight. Is there anything that y'all would like to talk about at this time?
Second.
Well, I don't know if I'd like to, but, and I don't know if it's just because I used to work there, but I get people from the city asking me a lot about the hospital. And so I really don't know how to answer it, but I don't know if we can use this platform to get JD or somebody involved, talking to somebody to see the status of things out there. I mean, it's a big supplier to our city, and I can't tell you exactly where they're at or what's going on, but, you know, if it fails, it's a big hurt to our community. So, you know, who do you talk to? Is it the board? Is there an exec council? Is there, like, who makes the decisions? What's going on? How are we looking? All I know is like the bond reports that come out, this things you read in public, right? And so I didn't know if we had, you know, maybe JD and Elizabeth can chime in a little bit. They don't, you know, obviously this is off the cuff, so I don't expect a lot now, but you know, what involvement can we have as council when it involves our city? What can we do to start conversations and meetings and just see the status? So I just know there's a lot of concern out there, which is why I'm bringing it up. So.
Absolutely. As you pointed out, you know, although this is not the city doesn't have an ownership interest in the hospital, it is a tremendous enterprise risk to the city when you have an employer of that size and somebody that pays that much property tax and things like that when they start having any kind of issues. I do think that I can certainly reach out to the CEO in my position as city administrator, and I can begin there. As far as the board goes, I think it would probably be seen as a breach of protocol for me to go to a board member, but I think if I go to the CEO, that would leave either a councilman that's tasked with that duty, or the mayor or somebody to possibly reach out to the board, and we can try to get you a little bit more information. From that perspective, I don't know that we're going to be able to necessarily gain access to any additional information unless they're willing to make it available to us, but we can certainly start that conversation. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm happy to do that.
I'd be happy to do some little bit of research too.
Okay.
So just, I don't know who to reach out to unless somebody knows, but.
I
I'll
can get
give
that
it a shot,
information
too.
for you, Mayor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd be more than happy to see what I could find out, sure.
Okay.
You could put what you find out in your mayor's report. Be a good spot for it.
He won't let it go.
I will do that, Mr. Allen. Anybody else want to beat me up over here?
No, but next meeting, you're covered. You don't have to get beat up, you got a
No.
report now.
I got it.
Problem
We will
solved.
be here all night.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I went to the loggers meeting for the city retirement. Very well-funded organization. You guys need to be really super happy. That's a top-notch organization there.
Awesome.
116% approved or funded. So it's
Wow.
it's a good deal. You guys are doing well.
Awesome.
Good deal, good deal. Mr. Patrick, you have anything? You wanna add
No,
anything?
sir.
Mr. Gibson?
No, sir.
Mr. Fox? Mr. Swisher?
Not today.
Mr. Allen, do you have anything you'd like to add? Mr. Brandt? Are you good? You good?
I'm good.
Okay. Good. All right, if nobody else has any other council business, I will have a report next time.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I can't even get that out in a hurry, want to adjourn.
We
Second.
might need help.
I need a motion in a second.
Second green.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
Just gonna sit here quietly like.
We didn't say yes.
I do